Woman Work, a poem by Maya Angelou, analyzed by Ryan Unesi and Akshaya Kanikeshwaran.
I've got the children to tend, the clothes to mend, the floor to mop, the food to shop, and then the chicken to fry, the baby to dry. I got company to feed, the garden to weed. I got the shirts to press, the tots to dress, the cane to be cut. I got to clean up this hut, then see about the sick, then the cotton to pick. Shine on me, sunshine. Rain on me, rain. Fall softly, dewdrops, and cool my brow again. Storm, blow me from here with your fiercest wind. Let me float across the sky till I can rest again. Because I've got the children to tend, the clothes to mend, the floor to mop, the food to shop, then the chicken to fry, the baby to dry. I got company to feed, the garden to weed, the cat to fall gently, snowflakes. Cover me with white, cold, icy kisses, and let me rest tonight. Sun, rain, curving sky, mountain, oceans, leaf and stone, starshine, moon glow. You're all that I can call my own.
Maya Angelou, originally Marguerite Annie Johnson, was born on April 4, 1928, in St. Louis, Missouri. For the first 4 years of her life, she lived with both of her parents in St. Louis, but after a messy separation, her father sent her and their 4 brothers to live with their paternal grandmother in Stamps, Arkansas. Living in the South, Angelou experienced segregation and deep discrimination firsthand. Her grandmother raised her and her siblings on her own. Angelou had a predominantly negative view of men, as she was abandoned by her father and later sexually assaulted by her mother's boyfriend at a young age. Much of Angelou's work focuses on the struggles faced by marginalized communities, such as women and Black people, and woman work is no different. Her history has clearly shaped her poem with references to tasks Black people were given when enslaved, seeing firsthand its influence by Angelou growing up in the segregated South. Moreover, she details the household tasks done by women in the first stanza, something she grew up seeing her grandmother completing alone and she herself going through it alone as a single mother.
The 1970s precedented a sea of landmark decisions, most importantly, Roe v. Wade and the corresponding increase in women's autonomy. Here came a rise in the rights of women. Well, more specifically, white women. Black women, on the other hand, found themselves at an insurmountable intersection of race and gender. As the rights of white women and Black men became more prominent through the feminist movement and the Black Pride movement, Black women were left behind and as such were left unrepresented. The poem Woman Work by Maya Angelou explores the struggles of women in society through the use of imagery, anaphora, and elliptical construction. In her work, Angelou highlights the plight of Black women specifically, often subjugated to enormous expectations.
One of the ways Angelou works to highlight the theme of the struggles of Black women in society is through the use of imagery throughout the poem. The poem starts off detailing the tasks in which Angelou perceives Black women completing on a daily basis. Through Angelou's descriptions, the reader is given the opportunity to fully visualize the tasks that are being described. Some examples of this imagery are when Angelou talks about the chicken to fry and the tots to dress. These lines help one to further visualize the image of someone completing these tasks. Moreover, imagery is seen in the narrator's description of the natural world. In particular, her use of the line, "fall softly, dewdrops, and cool my brow again," serves to emphasize the healing power of nature, especially for women as they rarely get any reprieve, but also helps the reader imagine the soft drops of rain as they ease the woman. Through the use of imagery, readers can envision in their minds the conditions of labor that the narrator states, allowing them to sympathize with the narrator more.
Another literary device used by Angelou is anaphora to emphasize the hopelessness of the situation. Lines 2 through 4, 6, and 8 through 9 each start with the, to show how endless and repetitive the list of tasks before our narrator is. Similarly to how each sentence structure is the same, each day is the same for our narrator. She is tasked with the to-do list for each day, and it entails the same things, showing the monotony of the day and its accompanying despair. Anaphora also appears with the repetition of "I've got," or some form of the matter. This shows that the burden of all of these tasks falls all on our narrator. She is the one who's responsible for finishing all of these items. The use of got specifically serves to show that the narrator's choice has been taken away from her. Rather, she has been forced into finishing all of these tasks. Instead of wanting to partake in these activities, she feels that it is her duty. It is a reflection of the way we view women in our society. We give them tasks and expect them to complete it without pleas for reprieve or a complaint, because that is their job. Angelou shows that this is true objectification of women, turning them into dolls with no thoughts or emotions, rather just people who must check items off of a list, so of course they'll be helpless. Elliptical construction, defined as the purposeful removal of an implied word or phrase from a sentence, is employed by Angelou throughout the poem to refer to the idea of women autonomy, or the lack thereof. Angelou uses this structure specifically in lines 2 through 8, where each sentence is written in fragments. Her purposeful removal of the first-person subject in these lines speaks to how oftentimes Black women are removed from the decision-making process of their own bodies and ideas. It is a reflection of the historical disenfranchisement of women of color throughout the world. Their mistreatment, such as being sent to foreign lands without their consent to function as exotic workers, has led to many of the stereotypes against them now, pinning the blame on them for something that they did not agree to in the first place. This lies in stark contrast to the lines in the 2nd through 5th stanzas, which emphasize the first-person subject of me in lines such as "Shine on me, sunshine," or "Storm, blow me from here." This shows the reclaiming of the first person and the reinstatement of Black women in their own lives, illuminating how Black women are often forced to resort to nature to feel any sort of control over themselves. Through these examples, Angelou is able to convey the point of a lack of independence for women in our society, just one of their many struggles. Through her use of imagery, anaphora, and elliptical construction, Angelou is able to convey her main point of the plight of Black women and the challenges they face. She understands that this is not a universal feeling, and that in order for her to truly share her message, she must place readers in the shoes of the narrator, something she does throughout the poem. As we leave the poem, we feel sympathetic to our narrator, reduced to nothing but her actions and never given a chance to rest. We feel her loneliness as she calls out to nature to rescue her, and her despair as she goes through her never-ending chore list. And finally, after years of Black women suffering alone and in silence, we hear their pleas.